Hi, friends. I'm Miss Nancy Ruth. I have some questions for you. Are you the kind of person that likes to be involved in a lot of different things and has a variety of interests? Are you the kind of person that likes to do things well? It's not worth doing if it's not done right, kind of thing. Are you the kind of person that struggles with balance, trying to figure out how to take care of yourself and your family and your work and your ministry and all the things that you've got to do? If so, then this is the workshop for you. I'm going to be covering 5 tips to help you. And we're going to start with the biggest one, but they're all really important. In fact, the last one I think is the most important. The first one just takes longer to explain. As I said, I'm Miss Nancy Ruth. I'm the co-founder of Parent Road Ministries, and I'm also a children's minister. In this workshop, we're going to get real because I've been learning some lessons the really hard way, and I'm hoping that you can learn from my experiences so that you don't have to learn it the hard way, and you can implement these things sooner than I did. So let me start by telling you my story, at least part of it. So that person I described with the questions at the beginning, yeah, that's me. I totally fit all of those things. The past 2.5 years, I have been working 2 full-time jobs on part-time hours, or at least trying to, and they're both ministry positions, which means there's always more to do and it always spills over into non-work time. Okay. In addition, in those 2.5 years, my dad and I forgot to tell you, I live here with my dad, who's 79, and my sister lives just a few houses down. So we have family stuff that's always going on. And in those 2.5 years, my dad and I have started what we call our home project. We've been trying to go through all of the stuff that my mother collected in the 80 years she was on this earth, as well as repurposing several rooms in the house. And let me just tell you, it's a lot. Enough said on that. Also, I have the normal stuff like housework and cooking and trying to take care of myself and exercise and rest and all those kinds of things. Okay, comment below if you can relate and some of the things that you have going on in your life. So when COVID hit, we all got a chance to rest. Did I rest? No, I started a YouTube channel. Then when things where I live started slowing down a little bit and more events and things started happening, we started doing more at the church as well. About this April, April's when children's ministry really starts going for the summer and is just nutsy and crazy all the way through about September. And starting in about April, I kept getting sick and sick. So we had VBS and the next week I got sick. We had kids camp, and the next week I got sick. We had kids mission trip, and the next week I got sick. And since April, my health has just kind of been declining over and over and over. I mean, just lower and lower. Until finally about in November, it got so bad I couldn't really do the jobs I needed to do. I didn't have the physical energy to be able to go up and down the stairs at the church. I didn't have the energy to get ready for Wednesday night and do Wednesday night at the church on the same day. And even when I just split them up, I would crash really hard on Thursdays with zero energy and couldn't really get up and do anything. So by the end of November, I made the tough decision to resign from my position at the church and hand that over to someone else. So with that, wow, I completely lost my train of thought. Oh, I remember. So in the process of all of that, I discovered that I have what's called chronic fatigue syndrome. All that means is my capacity of what is too much is less than most people. And in fact, since I'm so worn out, it's pretty small. But that doesn't mean that the things I'm learning doesn't apply to everybody. The things I'm learning about boundaries and limits and how to have balance actually applies to everybody. The difference is your capacity for too much might be a little bit more than mine, and that's okay. But we all have limits, and this is about staying within our limits. All right. So tip number 1, you ready? Sounds really simple or really hard to do. Do less. I know, crazy, right? So how do you do less? How do you even start looking at that? Well, first thing I did was I made a list of all my responsibilities, all the things I was trying to do in a week and in each day, stuff at home and with family and with friends and with the house and with both ministries and all the things. Got it all written down. It was a lot. It was a couple of pages. Then I needed to group it by category. So this was church stuff, this was parent road stuff, this was household stuff, this was family, this was friends, this was self-care things, all those things. So you have it in categories. All right, fine. You've got your list. Now what? Well, when I was graduating from seminary, a friend of mine gave me this mug, and it's one of my favorite mugs. And it's inside the rim, like what you can see when you're drinking your coffee or tea or whatever, is a quote by Francis of Assisi. And I love this. Listen to this. Start by doing what's necessary, then what's possible, and suddenly you are doing the impossible. I love that, and I've tried to live by that for many years. And that really fits well with this, because looking at your list, look and decide what is absolutely necessary. Okay? This is not the stuff that should get done. This is the bare minimum of what absolutely has to get done to make it work during the week. Bare minimum. And be ruthless about this. I mean, seriously, be ruthless. All right? So once you have that, you go ahead and put that. I use sticky notes so I can move them around. So you put those in one pile or in one stack or in one highlighter color. And then we start looking at what's important. Okay? These are the things that are important to do, but often get dropped off the bottom of the list because they're not urgent. You may be familiar with this. Sometimes people call this the Eisenhower matrix or the Eisenhower quadrants. I know it's backwards, but I'll read it to you. So he divided things into important, not important, urgent, not urgent. Okay? So the urgent and important, these are crisis management type things. Like, oh my goodness, the pipes just burst in the house and we've got water going everywhere. This has to be taken care of right now. Or, oh my goodness, my kid just broke his leg. This has to be taken care of right now. The problem when we don't plan and prepare and set our schedule and things, we get so much tied up in here. Everything's urgent. Everything's urgent because we don't have a plan for this. Oh my goodness, what do we do? Okay. What that does, it raises your adrenaline levels and sharpens all your stuff, and your body's on high alert. And that's how your body's made, and that's a good thing because we need that in actual emergencies. But when you're living in that state for extended periods of times, it's not healthy, and you will crash like I did. It's not good. Okay? What you're trying to do is reduce the amount of things that fall into that category of urgent and important. To do that, what you do is you move over here to the important and not urgent, and you schedule and plan. Okay? If you have a schedule and a plan ahead for stuff on your calendar, you say, okay, I know that this is going to come up, so I need to schedule time for it, and I'm going to do it on this day. Okay? That's a place to start. Then, for your urgent and not important stuff, these are things that you can delegate. If you've been around for a while, you may or may not know that Kristen works with Parent Road Ministries, and she's amazing. One of the big things that I've delegated to her is video editing. She edits most of our videos, and she does a great job at it too. And that has really helped my time to be able to focus on the things that really need to be done, those necessary items, which is awesome. Then you have in this quadrant, the not urgent and not important stuff. That's the stuff you need to try to eliminate and declutter from your life, right? So the next step on your list is to go through and say, okay, what really could we get away with not doing? That stuff needs to be eliminated. So in my list, I put that on, I went through and looked, and one of the things that could be shelved and not focused on right now was our home project. That's something we still want to do and chip away at. And if I have a little energy on a Saturday, I might work on it. But it doesn't merit being in the schedule right now during the week. So I put it on what I call my do it later shelf. And I have a long list of things I want to do sometime, and it's my do it later shelf. Okay? One of the things that helps with this is I tell people that life has seasons, and it's true. So there are some seasons when you're busier than others, like when you have small kids at home, you don't get a whole lot else done because you have small kids you're trying to take care of at home, and you're trying to do your bare minimum. That is not going to last forever. That's a season of life. So when they start going to school or when they start being more independent, then you have more time to dedicate to other things. It's a season of life. So right now I'm reminding myself this is a season where I'm focusing on getting healthy and building my strength back. Then I can take back that home project and plug it back into my weekly schedule, and that will work great. Okay, so remember you have seasons. So what can be eliminated for this season of life? All right, next, as you're coming up with your schedule for the week and schedule for the day, start with the most important things. All right, these are things that may fall off your schedule. May fall off your list. That's this part where we're trying to schedule it. Things like spending time with your family and friends, taking time to rest and take care of yourself, like exercise. For us, it's cooking healthy meals too. In addition, I wanted to spend more time in prayer and Bible study. And so that was in that category. So put that stuff in your schedule first, okay? One of the things I do in my schedule is I do kind of a block schedule. And I know this is backwards, but that's okay. And I put in the most important stuff first. So I get up pretty early. I try to get up about 5:30 or 6:30. And the first thing I do is exercise and shower, because if I don't exercise first thing, it's not going to happen. Because first thing in the morning, I'm not awake enough to say, oh, wait, do I really want to do this? So I just do it. It's really kind of funny, but it works. All right. Then I have breakfast and time to visit with Dad, like sit down and just visit and relax and talk. Okay. Those are two of my main blocks. Then I wanted to stop for lunch at 12 because I haven't quite fixed it yet. I have a bad habit of working through lunch and even skipping lunch altogether. Not good. So I'm trying to correct that habit. And so now lunch is one of those main blocks. Then I have an afternoon snack because that helps me really get through the day. And so that is scheduled in the day as a block. And then one of the new things I'm trying to do is really quit work. I just stop work whether I'm done or not at 5:30 and then cook dinner and then hang out with Dad and relax. We also have an extra thing in there that you may or may not do. At 8 o'clock, we turn off the TV and phones and we dim the lights and we get ready for bed and I do my stretching and then we listen to an audiobook as a way to unwind before bed. Okay, and we go to bed between 9 and 10, depending on the day. So the main blocks are that morning block of exercise and shower, and then breakfast with Dad, lunch, snack, and then evening stuff. So figure out what your main blocks are, put them in the schedule first, and then you add in the other stuff around it. So one of the things that's really helped me is realizing you don't have to do everything every day. In fact, a lot of what I am doing right now is different things based on the days of the week. So I have 2 Parent Road blocks, since that's my main work right now. First one's in the morning, and Mondays and Wednesdays I write, but other days it's kind of a free time. So I can be working on preparing events on our website, marketing, and stuff like that. At 11 o'clock, I do all my daily tasks, like email, social media, record receipts, and I switch the laundry. I do work from home. And then lunch is a chance to, I do pick up a little bit, but it's mostly a chance to stop and unwind and just take a little break. Sometimes I read or whatever. Then my second Parent Road Ministry block starts at 1 o'clock. And that one, I have a different thing for each day of the week. So Mondays, we do a Facebook Live, and I film the children's sermon and work on videos. Tuesday, if I'm up for it, I do the home project. If not, I might read or study. Wednesday, we do church stuff. I get ready, my lessons and that kind of thing. Thursday is more video things. Friday, I'm preparing for events. Then at snack time, that's when I fold and put away the laundry and I work on my language study because it's a chance for me to rest. All right. Then my next block is actually a household block. This is when I clean the house on Mondays. On Tuesdays, run errands and work on our website. Wednesday is my favorite. It's anti-procrastination day. Yikes, we all need one of those. Thursday is menu groceries, and I make my own cereal. And Friday, I clean out person bags and work on the financial books. So having a plan of when I know something will be covered. So I don't have to stress about cleaning the house every day because I know I'm going to take care of it on Monday. And what I get done in that hour is great, and what I don't, I don't. I'll pick up where I left off next week. The things like working on events and videos, that's challenging because I get focused and entrenched in a project. Can you relate to this? Focused and entrenched in a project, and then I have to stop when the timer goes off, and that's hard for me to do. So I'm learning to break things into smaller pieces, and the little alarms I set on my phone that says it's time to switch, I actually give myself a 5-minute warning. So then I can find a pause point in those 5 minutes and be able to walk away when the timer goes off. And I don't always do it when the timer goes off. I might fudge it, 10, 15 minutes, like hitting the snooze button. But the main thing is I'm trying to keep myself from getting so entrenched that it sucks up my whole day, and then I don't get done the other things that need to get done. So with this, the other important thing is to learn how to say no. None of us like to say no, especially those of us that like to be involved in lots of things and like to help and do stuff. But that's really important. If you want to find balance, you have to find where your limits are. You have to find where you can say no. And when you have your plan of what you can do, that really helps. Here's an example. My sister loves to be in plays and things. And I love that too. I used to be involved in that as well. But when she asked me if I wanted to audition for this play, I said, well, I can't. I'm looking at my schedule of the things I need to do and my energy levels right now. And I said, I can't, be out every night late doing that kind of stuff and sucking up my energy that way because I have work to do. So for this season, I can't do it. And that's okay. All right. But you do have to say no because you can't do everything. You're not Superman. You're not Superwoman. Sorry. I know many of us wish we were. All right. Tip 1, I told you was the longest, is do less. Tip 2, build lasting habits and routines. Now that you have your plan and your goals of what you want to do during the day, and feel free to keep tweaking that and trimming it. I have been for several weeks, and I finally am close to what I think I can do. So when you're building your habits, I don't have the copy of the book with me right now, but most of this comes from Atomic Habits by James Clear. He talks about habit stacking and ways to make your habits easier to do. So, for example, when I come downstairs in the morning and get my breakfast, I like to go and visit with Dad and just sit with him. After that, I do my Bible study. Well, to make it easier to transition to the Bible study, I keep my Bible study stuff. Keep in mind, I do this for a living, so I spend a little more than other people might. But I keep my Bible study stuff by the chair where I visit with Dad, and that's also where I do my Bible study because it makes it easier, and I can stack those habits. I'm already sitting there and ready and in a position to read where I like to read, so I just have my stuff there to make it easier to move on to the next thing in my routine. At the end of my work day, that's also where I like to read at the end of the day before 5:30 when I cut off. This is a book I'm reading right now, but I keep this book by that chair as well so that it's easier for me to transition to that and in my reading spot. Another thing that this works is like I'd fallen away from using moisturizer on my face at night, and I want to do that again. So I put my moisturizer and my toothpaste together in the bathroom. So when I take out my toothpaste at night, I also take out my moisturizer and put it on the counter. Then it's easier for me to, after I brush my teeth, wash my face and put on the moisturizer, and because it's right there. And then I put it away. So I'm building on habits I already have, and I'm also removing friction of additional effort to start the next thing I want to put in my routine. That's habit stacking. Okay. One other thing I want to put in here, I'm looking at my notes to make sure I don't forget anything. One of the things that will really help you get in a regular routine is to do certain things at the same time every day, or pretty much the same time. And that is the times that you eat, the times that you go to bed, and the times that you wake up in the morning. That includes weekends. So when you do those things at the same time, then your body is tuned and ready to do these things. And like with many things, you notice it more in other people before you notice it in yourself. So my dog, oh my goodness, I love my dog very much, but he tells time better than I do. So when it's evening and it's dinner time, if I'm running late and I'm not cooking and I'm not eating and that kind of thing, He will come dancing around like, hey, what you doing? What you doing? Hello? You're not cooking, you're not eating, and you're not feeding me. Time. Let's go. It's almost like I don't even need an alarm. It's really funny. So I noticed that in him before I noticed that, hey, yeah, I'm hungry and I need to eat. So that's kind of fun. Also, since Dad and I have established a wind down routine of turning off the TV and phones and dimming the lights, and we light a candle and get ready for bed, and I do my stretching, and then we listen to an audiobook before bed. And since we now have that routine, I can tell the nights when we're tired because both of us start dimming the lights early and turning on the candle. I'm like, oh, okay, we're tired. We're going to bed early because it's time. This is what we do when we get ready for bed. It's kind of fun. So that's something else. And when you go to bed and wake up at the same time, especially if you get sunlight, actual sunlight first thing in the morning, that will help reset your clock as well, so that you can have that routine and your body knows what, and mind know what to expect and where you are in your day. So habit 1, do less. Tip 2, build lasting habits and routines. Tip 3, build in margin. This is tough. Have you ever noticed, especially if you have kids, tasks always seem to take longer than you think they will? Whatever it is, it just always seems to take longer than you think it will. And so it could be interruptions, it could be emergencies, it could be distractions, or procrastination. It could be any number of things. And when other people are factored in, they may be on a different speed or pace or different understanding of what the timeline is than you are. All these things factor in to main things take longer than you think. So you have to build that into your schedule. And that's part of why you keep tweaking your schedule as you go, to build in that margin and to see how long things actually take. In addition, it's helpful during each day or at least once a week to build in what I call flex time, to know what you have this time set aside so that if something does come up, you can finish the task you were supposed to do during that flex time. So keep that in mind. So here we go. To review, tip 1, do less. Tip 2, build lasting habits and routines. Tip 3, build in margin. Tip 4, cultivate focus. If you're going to schedule your day where you're focusing on one thing each day and one thing at each time during the day, it's important to actually work on that when it's time to work on that. And that's not easy. One of the things that helps me, I keep sticky notes and pens everywhere. So if I'm working on something and think, oh, I've got to do that, but it's not time for it yet, I write it down on my sticky note and I deal with it when I'm finished with the task at hand. And then I can either put it into my calendar or put it into Time Tuner, which I use to track my routines, or any of those kinds of things. The other thing that helps with cultivating focus is to set boundaries. Some of the things that I do is like I have my phone automatically set to go on silent and do not disturb mode from about 8 p.m. till the morning. And I have it set where, my emergency contact list can still get through. So if there's an emergency and my sister calls me, I can still get it. But that's available as well. So then the other boundary I have, like I said, is no work after dinner. And then taking a day off, that I've really been working on taking a day off. Okay, so tip 1, do less. Tip 2, build lasting habits and routines. Tip 3, build margin. Tip 4, cultivate focus. Tip 5, have grace with yourself and with others. Set realistic goals. Don't try to do too much. And don't try to change everything at once. Change one habit at a time until that sticks, and then work on the next one. Otherwise, you just get frustrated and give up. So just take your baby steps. And that's the other thing. We celebrate baby steps, or we're learning to. Progress is progress. Whether it's just a little bit of progress or significant progress, it is still progress and should be celebrated. So celebrate those little victories and little bits of progress, and have grace with yourself and with others when it doesn't work. It's okay. You just keep tweaking it. And that's what life is about. So those are my tips for you. We have do less, build lasting habits and routines, build in margin, cultivate focus, have grace with yourself and others. Let me pray with you before we go. And I'm curious what you learned from this. If there's one thing you would change this week, one new habit to cultivate, what would it be? Put it in the comments below. Lord Jesus, thank you for these that are trying to use their time the best way that they can to serve you, to serve their families, to do what they need to do, to the work you've set before them to do. I pray, Lord, that you would give wisdom to know what is actually important and necessary and what is not for this season of life. Give us grace with ourselves and with others. Give us wisdom. Give us perseverance and strength. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. See you later, friends.